We know each other.
I think I saw you yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you were being chased by the police.
Ocean's 12 looks like a smooth, stylish sequel, but behind the scenes, it's one of the strangest and most chaotic movies ever made. The script began as a completely different story. Brad Pitt tricked an entire crew into treating George Clooney like a diva, and Clooney and Pitt even got kicked out of their own hotel after being mistaken for random strangers. Somehow, Julia Roberts ends up playing a character who pretends to be Julia Roberts, and that's only the beginning. This film is packed full of moments that make you go, wait, what? So get ready, because these are 20 crazy facts about Ocean's 12. And as always, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell icon so you never miss one of our videos. Number 20. The story for Ocean's 12 originally came from a script called Honor Among Thieves. George Nolfi wrote the script and was not connected to Danny Ocean or his crew. It was about an American thief competing with a European one, and at one point people considered turning it into a movie for John Woo, a famous director known for action movies. But Warner Brothers needed to have a sequel to the 2001 Ocean's 11, so instead of starting fresh, they bought Nolfi's script and had him rewrite it. He changed the characters and made it fit the Ocean's crew. The European rival became Francois, also known as the Night Fox, played by Vincent Cassel. This is why Ocean's 12 feels different from the first movie. It focuses more on competition, has a faster style, and uses a lot of European locations.
I want my money back. The money that your husband and his 10 friends stole from me. With interest. $160 million over 3 years.
Number 19. While the crew was filming in Lake Como, Italy, Brad Pitt came up with a hilarious idea to mess with George Clooney. He wrote a memo in Italian and posted it around the town and on telephone poles, and it said that it was from Clooney's team giving strict instructions to the local crew. It told them that they have to call George Clooney Mr. Clooney or Mr. Ocean, and that they should never look him in the eye. The local crew believed it and followed the instructions, and for days they treated Clooney with extreme formality, even calling him El Divo, which means the star. Clooney thought that it was horrible and said the prank made him look like a stuck-up diva, which was far from how he usually acted on set. He had to admit it was a brilliant prank, though. It was one round in the legendary prank war between Pitt and Clooney, and Matt Damon later said it was the maddest he'd ever seen Clooney get. Clooney did get him back, though, with a much more simple retaliation. He stuck bumper stickers on Pitt's car that read, "Small penis on board."
She has you. Yeah. That means it's yes. Well, you better hear.
Number 18. When Brad Pitt and George Clooney were filming in Rome, they decided to go jogging, and during that run, a sudden rainstorm hit. They got completely soaked and their clothing were drenched, and they looked absolutely messy when they got to the hotel. When they tried to go inside, the hotel doorman actually stopped them. He didn't recognize the stars, even though it was 2004 and they were two of the most famous actors in the world. To him, they looked like random wet guys in jogging clothing, and shockingly, he turned them away. Two of the most photographed faces on Earth were just two soggy guys that the doorman didn't want dripping around his lobby. Number 17. Right before filming began, Matt Damon was ready to back out. Fresh off the exhausting shoot for The Bourne Supremacy, he felt completely worn out and reached out to director Steven Soderbergh asking for his role as Linus to be reduced. He thought the character could take on a smaller part in the story, but Soderbergh wasn't having it. He believed that Linus was just too important to the movie structure and argued that cutting Damon's role would weaken the entire film. Soderbergh said no and instead wrote Damon's frustration into the film. All throughout the movie, Linus keeps asking Rusty for more responsibility in their plan, and every time he's ignored or treated like a beginner. Fans have noticed that this is similar to how Damon felt frustrated with Soderbergh in real life.
Okay, I don't even understand what happened in there. What did I say?
You called his niece a whore.
Very cheap one.
What?
Number 16. During pre-production, Julia Roberts found out she was pregnant with twins, but instead of trying to hide it, Steven Soderbergh decided to add it into the film. His creative choice would lead to one of the strangest and most unforgettable twists in movie history. They wrote a scene where Tess Ocean, played by Julia Roberts, has to pose as Julia Roberts. The fake pregnant belly that Tess wears in the scene wasn't fake at all. It was Julia's actual pregnancy, and throughout most of the movie she wears loose shirts and baggy coats to hide the truth. It was all part of a plan to keep the audience guessing until it was actually revealed.
Oh my God, I'm hyperventilating.
Welcome back, sweetheart. Thank you. She's very tired. Thank you. That's the red.
Number 15. The scene where the crew guesses Danny's age is inspired by a hilarious real-life moment. George Clooney, who played Danny Ocean, was 42 when he began filming and turned 43 later on that year, while the movie was still being shot. But here's the funny part. Clooney has joked in interviews about being mistaken for older than he is, and Soderbergh leaned into that running anxiety, turning it into one of the film's recurring jokes.
Let me ask you something. How old do you think I am?
48.
During the scene, the crew debates how old he actually is, and they throw out guesses suggesting that he's in his 50s. While Danny Ocean's exact age is never confirmed, George Clooney's real age at the time matched the jokes about him being older.
Do I look 50 to you?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I mean, only from the neck up.
Number 14. The scenes where the gang leaves Amsterdam by train were not actually filmed in Amsterdam Central Station, and that's because when the filmmakers arrived in the Netherlands, they wanted to shoot there, but Dutch railway officials said no. They were worried that filming would mess up train schedules and lead to government fines, and so the team had to change plans, moving 20 kilometers away to Haarlem Station. It looked close enough to Amsterdam, so they made it work. They even changed the station signs to say Amsterdam Central during the shoot. A high-speed train was repositioned from Amsterdam to Haarlem for the scene, and while moving, it accidentally hit an overhead wire. This was a catenary wire located at a critical junction, and the damage caused a massive power outage across several tracks. It took hours to fix, and train services were completely disrupted. All of the chaos took place at a station they weren't even supposed to use in the first place.
Right, stay on point. And don't forget the other thing I told you.
About what?
About listening.
Just relax. Remember, we don't get this job, we're dead.
Number 13. Julia Roberts plays Tess Ocean, a character who's pretending to be Julia Roberts. She has to pose as Julia Roberts as part of a con, and at one point, she ends up on a phone call. And guess who's on the other end? The real Julia Roberts. What makes it even more wild is that Julia Roberts actually recorded her own voice for the scene. The layers in the scene are incredible. She's playing a character who pretends to be herself and even talks to herself on the phone. Tess gets advice about acting, and the funny part is that the advice also fits real-life Julia Roberts. The advice is, you're playing an actress, they're insecure. And one more layer, the fictional movie referenced in the scene, Clowns Can't Sleep, was not a fake title made up for the script. It was the working title of Ocean's 12 during production. Julia Roberts playing Tess, pretending to be Julia Roberts, references the very film that she's currently in.
Hello?
Hello? Marcus?
No, it's Julia.
She's medicated.
Who's this?
It's Julia. I'm with Bruce Willis.
You're with Bruce
and
right
we're
now.
looking for-
Number 12. Bruce Willis's cameo in Ocean's 12 is packed with an inside joke that only Hollywood could pull off. What most people don't realize is Bruce Willis was originally signed to play Danny Ocean in Ocean's 11, and scheduling conflicts forced him to drop out. That would open the door for George Clooney to step in. Willis has reportedly admitted he regrets the decision, and now fast forward to Ocean's 12, where he shows up not as a character, but as himself. In one scene, he runs into Tess Ocean, but he thinks that she's actually Julia Roberts. The characters around them take the chance to crack jokes, like teasing him about the twist from The Sixth Sense, and there's even a moment where he pokes fun at himself, mentioning that he hasn't won an Oscar. Even George Clooney once said he believed Bruce regretted not being in the first film, and this cameo feels like a wink at that moment.
Aren't you like a week
What
overdue?
are you doing in Rome?
Well, I'm here on vacation.
Number 11. The Night Fox's villa sits on the shores of Lake Como in a beautiful Italian town called Bellagio. Alongside the stunning views, it has a direct connection to the first film. Casino mogul Steve Wynn drew inspiration for the Bellagio, its name and its lakeside aesthetic, directly from the Italian town. The spot in Italy influenced the very place that Danny Ocean's crew pulled off their legendary heist. The sequel, Ocean's 12, brings everything full circle. The villa of the new villain, the Night Fox, is set in the same town which inspired the casino of the first movie. It's like the story is playing a clever little trick. Danny leaves Vegas and journeys to Europe only to face off against a man who lives in the shadow of where it all began. The movie never openly points it out, so you might end up missing the connection.
Whereas if you accept my challenge and win, I promise I'll pay your debt to Benedict.
Number 10. Being a talented musician is something that a lot of people don't know about Andy Garcia. Alongside acting, he's composed and performed a piece of music for the movie. The piano piece that his own character plays in the movie was an original composition by himself. It's titled Requiem for a No-Good Effing Limey, sometimes referred to as Requiem for a Dead, or even Ballad for a Limey Bastard. The piano moment takes place when Terry visits Basher, played by Don Cheadle, in the recording studio, and Benedict uses the chilling melody to scare Basher and the crew. Number 9. The Amsterdam canal scene hides an amazing secret. The crew had to wear matching drysuits for the sequence, and they were custom made by a small business in Staffordshire, England. Gareth and Tina Roberts, a husband and wife team, had worked non-stop to make it happen. Their company, Griffin Water Sports, was tasked with creating 10 suits in only 2 weeks, and out of those 10, only one needed to be fully waterproof. The others just had to look good for the camera. The couple worked day and night without slowing down, and all the effort was for a scene that lasts only 90 seconds on screen. Those few moments in Amsterdam seem effortless on film, but behind the scenes, it was a true race against time. Number 8. The Fabergé egg heist is actually based on a real event. In 1907, the Cullinan diamond, the largest gem-quality diamond ever discovered, at 3,106 uncut carats when it was first found in 1905, had to be transported from South Africa to England as a gift to the king. It was worth so much that keeping it safe required genius-level planning, but officials didn't rely on just heavy security. Instead, they pulled off an amazing trick. They sent in a decoy. A steamer ship loaded with Scotland Yard detectives was rumored to be carrying the diamond, but the real diamond wasn't even on the ship. It was sent across continents and an ocean in the most unexpected way, a plain brown parcel sent through regular mail. There were no guards or fuss, just ordinary mail hiding one of the most valuable diamonds in history. The same idea of hiding the real treasure in plain sight and using something obvious as a distraction was used in the movie's Heist. Number 7. Ricky Gervais was asked to play a technician engineer in Ocean's 12. His character would have helped Basher with some crucial tasks, but Ricky said no. He didn't want to say a few lines next to Brad Pitt while missing out on playing leads back home. At the time, he was doing amazing work on British television, and for him, staying in the spotlight in the UK made more sense than taking a small role in a big Hollywood film. There was also a plan to have Clint Eastwood. He was penciled in to play Bobby Caldwell, Linus's father, but that didn't happen, and instead the role went to Peter Fonda. Fonda did his cameo, but his part was cut from the final movie, and later in Ocean's 13, the Bobby Caldwell role came back, this time played by Bob Einstein. Number 6. With such a simple necklace, you'd never guess there's a story behind it. Brad Pitt's character wore a thin silver necklace in the movie, and on it hung a tiny replica of Brad's own wedding ring from his marriage to Jennifer Aniston. It was something that Brad Pitt chose to wear himself and brought a small part of his real life into the movie. The ring does have its own backstory. Pitt had designed the original, a custom white gold band with diamonds, for their wedding in 2000. The design caused legal drama in 2001 when a jewelry company was caught selling replicas without permission. Despite all the legal troubles, Pitt wore the scaled-down version of the ring throughout filming, especially in the scenes in Rome, and what makes the detail so interesting is the timing. The movie filmed for months in Europe in 2004, and when it premiered, Pitt and Aniston were still married, but only 1 month after release, the couple announced their separation. Number 5. The hypnotic track that plays during Vincent Cassel's laser dance scene is unforgettable, an instrumental version of a song by a French hip-hop group. The song was what made the laser dance scene so iconic. The rhythm and beats and vibe were all perfectly matching the tension and smooth moves in the scene, but the track, which became inseparable from the scene in people's memory, did not make it into the official soundtrack. And that's not the only surprise. Other key songs were also missing from the commercial release. David Holmes' tracks, Amsterdam and I Love Art Really, were not included even though they were later released as separate singles. The Gotan Project's music for another big scene was left out. Fans who had bought the soundtrack expecting the iconic music from the film were left scratching their heads. The album that hit shelves was essentially a record of what Ocean's 12 sounded like in the gaps between its biggest moments. Number 4. Vincent Cassel performed the entire laser dance himself with no stunt double. Vincent Cassel plays the Night Fox, and he performed the entire laser dance himself. No stunt double was involved. He brought his real-life skills to the role, as he's trained in an Afro-Brazilian martial art that combines dance, acrobatics, and combat. While the lasers appear dangerous on screen, they weren't even there during filming. Those iconic red beams were added later in post. It's hard to believe, but every flip, twist, and movement that you see was entirely his own athletic ability, with no safety net or tricks, just his pure skill. He worked with film choreographers to refine the routine, and then performed the entire 2-minute sequence on a museum set with no lasers, no double, and no safety net. They were later added to make it look like he was moving through a maze, and Steven Soderbergh chose Cassel for the role after meeting him at the Cannes Film Festival, knowing that his special talents were just right for the part. Number 3. During interviews, several cast members admitted that one of the biggest reasons for signing on to the sequel was the chance to spend months traveling through stunning places like Rome, Amsterdam, Monte Carlo, Paris, and more. The most talked about place was George Clooney's villa on Lake Como. It became the ultimate hangout spot while filming in Italy. Brad Pitt joked that Catherine Zeta-Jones thought that they were making a movie, just showing how laid back the atmosphere was on set. Steven Soderbergh said the studio did not push for it, the actors did, suggesting that no one was overly invested in making the sequel just for the movie's sake, but Soderbergh wanted to explore more, so he became its biggest cheerleader. Number 2. The movie has the lowest ratings in the entire Ocean's franchise. On Rotten Tomatoes, it scores only 55%, and on Metacritic, it earned 58 out of 100. Audiences gave it the cinema score of B-, the lowest in the series. And add to that, Entertainment Weekly listed it as one of the 25 worst sequels ever made. A rough reception for a film, but that's where things get surprising. Soderbergh says that this was his favorite film in the trilogy, thinking that it's the best-looking movie he ever made. He believes it has the best musical score, and most shocking of all, he says this is the one film he enjoys rewatching the most. Soderbergh's defense isn't that audiences misunderstand the film, it's that the movie was deliberately doing something different, a looser, more playful, and more self-aware thing than what audiences came to expect. Number 1. With a massive budget of $110 million, Ocean's 12 was a bold sequel to Ocean's 11, and critics were divided. Entertainment Weekly particularly skewered the meta moment where Julia Roberts plays a character pretending to be herself, but audiences showed up anyway. Even with criticisms, the movie surprised everyone, making $362.9 million around the world, over 3 times its original budget. It became the 10th highest grossing film of 2004, and it may have not been a financial win, but it still feels like a disappointment compared to the first film. Fans were divided, calling it everything from a holiday project to a vanity piece, yet this worst sequel ironically played a huge role in keeping the Ocean's franchise alive. Even with the flaws, it proved that sometimes a movie doesn't have to be loved to dominate at the box office. Now be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe so that you always know when we upload another video like this. If you have any recommendations, feel free to let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.